Hey there, podcast lovers. Looking for a fresh take on the world? Tune into Nikki's World, where we dive into everything hitting the headlines and chat about just what's on our minds. No filters, just real talk. Whether you're sipping your morning coffee or unwinding after a long day, Nikki's World is your go-to for genuine commentary on the real world. Subscribe now if you want to hear the real deal on what's going on. Join the conversation on Nikki's World, where every episode feels like catching up with an old friend. Don't miss out.
What's up, y'all? Let's do this.
Oh, hi guys. Welcome to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host, and today, guys, we gotta talk about what the is going on in Bridgeport, Connecticut. It seems like Bridgeport, Connecticut can't run a fair election in this country. We gotta talk about that and so much more. But before we go any further, guys, if you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all, can y'all please consider donating a cup of coffee for me? Because for the price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, and Cumberland Farms, guys, you guys help keep this podcast show alive. You guys help me curate more stories, more topics like this to talk about. I do accept Bitcoin donations. I am on Ko-fi, guys. If you guys want to support, sponsor, donate, and tip to Nikki's World, if you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all, please hit that like, subscribe, please give me a review, good, bad, and the ugly. Also, guys, I do have a bunch of affiliate links. First off is Minds.com. Minds.com is a Connecticut-based social media platform. They are an awesome alternative to Facebook, guys. So if you guys value your right to freedom of speech like I do, and you guys want to speak freely without fear of censorship, deplatforming, blocking, or suspending, well then, head on over to minds.com. Also, guys, I do have one of the most awesome, and I mean the most awesome affiliate link with Byrna. Byrna is the less lethal self-defense company, guys. They make their top of the line Byrna SD, Byrna LE, TCR, Mission 4, and their newest, guys, their compact launcher. So if you guys value your right to the Second Amendment, your right to self-defense, but you guys want to do it in a less lethal manner, guys, well then, head on over to my friends at Byrna.com. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I do have the most awesome, and I mean the most awesome affiliate link with North Shore Medical Supply. North Shore Medical Supply, they make their top of the line North Shore Megamax diapers, their North Shore Supreme pull-ups, and their Eternal boosters, guys. So if you know somebody out there that needs to wear adult diapers and that needs to be put in adult diapers like I do, guys, well then, send them on over to my friends at North Shore Medical Supply, and they will make sure that they are diapered up as always. And before we get this show on the road, literally, guys, if you guys love this episode and any of my other episodes on Nikki's World, seriously, y'all, can y'all please consider sharing this across all the social media platforms that are out there today? Yeah, that is a mouthful, ladies and gentlemen. That is a mouthful. And yes, guys, I'm always diapered up in my diaper and t-shirt today, so I'm always diapered up, padded up. Let's get on with the show, shall we? So, a couple of days ago, this popped up on my feed, okay? This, this really, this really grind my gears, okay? This popped up basically over the weekend on Saturday, guys. So this really grind my gears, okay? Every time stories like this pop up, I always give the 48 to 72 hour rule. Let the story stew and let me find out, give the behind story and everything. What's happening here again is that Bridgeport, Connecticut, and if y'all know what's going on in Bridgeport, Connecticut, where you had like this one election worker who stuffed ballots in the mail in the ballot drop boxes that the left wanted to use. Well, they were stuffing those as well. But it turns out now another city councilman in Bridgeport who is committing absentee ballot fraud again? I'm like this, sitting here in my diaper and t-shirt and going, what the is going on in Bridgeport, Connecticut? These people run a fair, decent election in this country? Can they run a decent election in this town without dragging our name through the mud again? I mean, what the fuck? We made headlines in this country last year when Democrats were caught stuffing ballots in the ballot drop boxes, and now you got another city councilman in Bridgeport like committing ballot fraud on absentee ballots. Read you this headline from the Hartford Courant. Connecticut CT probing city councilman for absentee ballot fraud again. Okay? Read you the first two paragraphs. State officials are once again investigating Bridgeport City Councilman Alfredo Costello for allegedly collecting absentee ballots from public housing facilities ahead of the city's general election next month. The State Elections Enforcement Commission voted this week to refer two recent complaints about Costello to state prosecutors for potential criminal charges. Here we go again. I'm saying they're going like this. Can we ever run a fair election in Connecticut? Can we? With what's going on in Bridgeport, Connecticut, I ain't even surprised if this is happening throughout my entire state. I ain't even surprised. This is like symptomatic of a one-party rule state in Connecticut where Republicans don't hold majority, like even like a 50-50 split seats in the state legislative. They don't. Okay? And then you wanna go one step further in New England? New England Democrats have gerrymandered their state so much that there isn't any Republican representation. But yet Democrats like get all hissy fit when Republicans gerrymander their state, and then Democrats go, "Oh, you can't gerrymander this." But then we point to New England as a prime example. of how they gerrymandered Republicans out so much that the New England region has become what? Dominated by Democrats. Yeah. But now in Bridgeport, Connecticut, this is the reason why they're doing this here. Okay? They're basically committing ballot fraud, absentee ballot fraud, ballot stuffing, okay? Jury rigging ballots for people to vote in their favor. I'm telling you this, man. This is why Connecticut can't run a clean election in this country. It's because Democrats cheat so often, ladies and gentlemen, that people have become so oblivious to it that nobody ever seems to realize that, oh shit, Democrats are cheating in this election. Democrats are stealing this election. Democrats are stealing votes, stealing this, stealing that. It's shocking to me, guys. It really is. It's shocking. Yeah, to say the least. But the fact of the matter is, Bridgeport, Connecticut has become symptomatic of what's going on in the state of Connecticut's one-party rule politics here. Is that Democrats want to rule this entire country in this entire, or they say in this entire state, in this entire region for centuries. I tell you what, the last time we had a Republican like run the state was like what, in the 90s, when we had like Jody Rell as governor. That was the last time. But after that, Democrats ran the state like nothing. And you want to know who's partly responsible for this? A guy named John Rowland. John Rowland fucked it up for Republicans so badly that this is why like Republicans could never gain political power in the state of Connecticut ever again. They can never. And then you got this one article right here from CT Mirror. I'll read you the headline. State prosecutors investigating Bridgeport City Councilman again. Okay? Read you the headlines from this. State officials are once again investigating Bridgeport City Councilman Alfredo Costello for allegedly collecting absentee ballots from public housing facilities ahead of the city's general election next month. Basically, this guy is ballot harvesting. This is how Democrats cheat, ladies and gentlemen. This is how they cheat and steal elections in New England states. They go out to these elderly housing or disabled housing or these public housing. They help these people fill out absentee ballots, and then they collect them, and then they toss out the ones that vote Republican, and basically deliver the ones that vote Democrat. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, this is how Democrats have been cheating the elections in New England states. This is how they steal elections. This is how they rig elections. This is how they even gerrymander like across New England. They do this so often, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you this right now. I'm telling you this right now. Democrats have been stealing elections for a very long time, and now they're getting caught. The thing that's coming surprisingly, guys, is a thing called accountability and responsibility. Yeah, two things that are coming their way. But I'm telling you this right now, man. I'm telling you this. The fact that Bridgeport, Connecticut can't run a fair election in the state is why New England is predominantly Democrat run. It's because they cheat. They steal elections. Yeah. And then they stay in power by what? Ballot harvesting and then discarding Republican ballots for favor of Democrat ballots. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this is an example of how Democrats cheat in elections. This is how they cheat. And if you figure this out, and if you know how they do this, it's mind blowing. It's shocking. It's even like this. You sit there and then you go like this. How the fuck are they getting away with this? Shouldn't somebody from the DOJ be looking at this? I mean, many times I've seen how like Democrats gerrymandered like the congressional districts here in Connecticut so much that almost the entire Connecticut congressional representation is all Democrat. There's not even a single Republican. And then you wonder why, ladies and gentlemen, Republicans complain that, hey, we pay taxes, but we don't have representation. That's not fair. So I sit there and I go like this: why the fuck should I pay taxes if I'm not being represented in my state legislature or in my congressional district? Why am I not being represented? But then this is why I sit there and I go like this. We should like scrap the gerrymandering and go by like proper representation. We should. But to me, this smacks cheating in this country. This is cheating no matter how you call it, no matter how you slice it, and then no matter how you say it. It's cheating on a grand scale. It's pretty much what it is, guys. It is cheating so badly, ladies and gentlemen, that, oh my fucking God, the level of cheating that Democrats pull is off the charts. It pretty is. It is pretty much off the charts. This is why, guys, Republicans can't get a foothold in New England. Because you got people like Costello in Bridgeport, Connecticut, who are cheating, who are trying to stay in power. Pretty much. That's why Democrats at the state and federal level, they're drunk on power. They're drug addicted. It's like a cocaine addiction to them. It pretty much is. But to me, this is massive in Connecticut. That Connecticut can't run a fair election, and how's that like abode confidence for me? How does that give confidence that my election, my vote matters? How? How? Anybody want to explain that to me? Anybody want to explain that to me while I'm podcasting to y'all in my diaper and t-shirt? How does voting in an election give me confidence that my vote matters? When you got shit like this in Bridgeport, Connecticut, when you got shit like this in Bridgeport, it makes you wonder, ladies and gentlemen, does my vote really matter in this country? Does it matter in the state of Connecticut that I live in? Does it matter in my hometown? That's what I question all the time. That's what I question when I go vote in person. I don't do early voting, okay? I don't do early voting or absentee voting. The only time I do absentee voting is if I'm on deployment with the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary or the U.S. Coast Guard. But other than that, I show up on election day. I show up to the polls on election day. I show up and I make sure my ballot is put into the machine. It is that simple. But the fact of the matter is, having shit like this in Bridgeport, Connecticut, makes me question: do we really have voter integrity? Do we have full faith, trust, and confidence in our election system in this country, do we need to put election monitors? Do we need to put serial numbers on our ballots? Because I'm telling you, I would be all in favor if we put serial numbers on our ballots. And then you have to attach a thumbprint to that ballot. I would be all in favor of that. I would. Because you know why? Democrats can't be able to lie and cheat and steal because they would need a thumbprint to verify that that person actually voted. And then you can trace that through the serial numbers. Because I'm going to tell you this, if we put serial numbers on currency, we should put serial numbers on ballots. That way we can trace that ballot to that person and track it all the way back. And at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, I would demand like the same level of security that Las Vegas casinos use when they count the money. I would use that level of security because the way they count money at the casinos, they probably count that in a special room that is so heavily guarded that only the owners of the casino and either the board of directors or the shareholders or the board of trustees know what is in that vault. It's that simple. I would do the same thing. I would be like this. They'd be like a police officer. They'd be like at least a police officer over there and security guards guarding that facility. Cameras would be all over the place, and I would write a federal law that say if you tamper that camera during the counting of the ballots, automatic 10 years in prison. No ifs, ands, or buts. Automatic. You get charged with election fraud. Automatic 10 years. No appeal. No mitigating it. Mandatory minimum. You go to prison for 10 years. It's that simple. And that way it sends a powerful message that yes, we take elections seriously. We take ballots very seriously. And then I would go one step further. I do what Singapore does in their election. They hold the ballots for 6 months after the election, just in case they need to be audited, just in case they need to be inspected, or there's some discrepancy that they need to look at. After the 6 month window, they get incinerated automatically. That means they get incinerated in like what, in a fire pit or anything type like that, and that way they can't be used ever again. I would do that. I would do that because I'm telling you this, man. If I want secure elections, if I want confidence that my vote matters in this country, I would do whatever it takes to make sure that people's votes matter. They have good confidence, full faith, and trust in our election system. The Democrats are doing this right now. I don't know if we have full faith and trust in our election system. I don't know if we have full faith and trust. We're like quickly losing that thanks to the Democrats who are causing this. And we are losing it at an alarming rate. And when we lose it, we're never going to get it back. I'm telling you guys, we are never, ever going to get it back. And when we don't get it back, ladies and gentlemen, it's not my problem. It is not my problem. Because I'm going to tell you this, guys, and I'm going to say this, is that if we don't restore full faith, trust, and confidence in our election, the same way we have full faith and trust in our monetary system in this country, We don't have an election. We don't have a country. We don't have a government. We don't. So this is why, ladies and gentlemen, if we want to restore full faith, trust, and accountability in our elections, then we need to do what it takes to prevent what happened in Bridgeport, Connecticut from ever happening again. That is that is the same way. And I tell you this, if it were up to me, I would treat each ballot like if it was money. I would secure it so badly that in order to move like all the ballots from one place to another to be counted, they would have to be kept under armed guard at all times. That means, ladies and gentlemen, that means, folks, that means those people who are bank security guards that are armed, that walk with like say like a bag of cash, but they're armed, but then they have the armored like bank vaults, the armored trucks that you see around town. That would be the same thing for elections. That would be the same thing. And then counting them, you would have 360 cameras everywhere. That means under the table, that means above, on all corners of the wall, on the ceiling. Yeah. And then I would put a federal law that says you tamper the camera, it is an automatic charge of election interference. Oh, you know what I mean? Election fraud, and an automatic 10-year prison sentence. No appeal, no mitigating this. It is the mandatory minimum of 10 years. It is that simple. And then putting the teeth of that, you would have federal election monitors. That means FBI agents, okay, going to every polling location in the United States and making sure that people are voting as they should, and there is no interference, no fraud, no like ambiguity, none of that. Okay, it would ensure that people have the confidence in their election and how they vote for say the next president, governor, legislator, congressman. It would give people the confidence that they deserve. Okay? Because what happened in Bridgeport, Connecticut should send alarm bells to everyone. Should literally scare the living shit out of your diaper. Or in this case, my diaper should scare me out of my diaper that this is going on again in Bridgeport? Yeah. That should scare me out of my North Shore Megamax diaper. That we have crooked politicians who are trying to rig and steal elections. That should freak anybody out. That should piss the living shit out of everyone. Should piss that should piss me off so badly that I probably would need a diaper change from all that. I probably would. But I'm telling you, man, this is why we need to secure our elections before the midterm elections and the upcoming presidential elections. And I've been saying this to people that if we don't fight hard at the state level to secure our elections for both the midterms and the presidential, we don't have full faith and trust in it. Everybody's going to question it. Everybody's going to question the legitimacy of it. Yeah, that's why. That's why to prevent what happened in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and not have another Bridgeport show up on my RSS newsfeed, we need to do all we can to secure elections. We really do, guys. We really, really do. So anyway, guys, I want to talk about these next two articles, okay? I want to talk about this, and this popped up today on my RSS feed, okay? And this first one, from the Daily Caller. Elon Musk declares war on Wikipedia with Grokipedia launch. And if many of y'all know, guys, Wikipedia, or as I call it, Wokepedia, is their leftist encyclopedia, which is what? All slanted to them. It's all biased, one-sided. They don't give facts. They give opinions. And many schools, like from what middle school to college, you're not allowed to use Wikipedia or cite from Wikipedia, because if you do, you're flunked out of it. You're failed. But many professors will let you use Wikipedia as a whatchamacallit, as a like a starting point for your topic or what you're gonna write about. But now Elon Musk, who created Grok, which is like the AI chat GPT, has now created Grokipedia, which is a competitor to now the leftist Wokepedia. And the difference between Wikipedia and Grokipedia, guys, is that Grokipedia updates their information constantly, near instantaneously. So if new research, new data, new facts come in, it gets put up on Grokipedia faster than it does on Wokepedia, because Wokepedia goes through like what? Peer review, editorial. People can slant this, this, and this, and this, and this, or they can lie, they can like gaslight, they can post fake information on Wikipedia. Whereas Grokipedia, guys, it's instantaneous. You can see the change right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. You can see the change. And I'm telling you right now, guys, I've been on Grokipedia, and I can tell you this: the change that talks about intersex, disorders of sexual development, and Kalman's syndrome is far more accurate than Wikipedia. And Wikipedia changes take like what? Years, months after debate, argument, and so on and so on. Whereas Grokipedia, where it's backed up by ChatGPT and artificial intelligence, it's backed up instantaneously. It is fact checked instantaneously, backed up so fast that even the left can't dispute it. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, you wonder why leftists, liberals, Democrats, progressive, socialists, and communists, you wonder why they hate artificial intelligence and chat GPT. You want to know why? Because they can't gaslight, bullshit, lie to you anymore. All you got to do is whenever a leftist like basically lies, bullshits you, or basically gaslights you, you can fact check them on what? Grokipedia, so fast that it sends them running back to their mama's basement. Yeah. And I'll read you this headline from the Daily Caller. Elon Musk declares war on Wikipedia with Grokipedia launch. Read you the first two paragraphs. Elon Musk on Tuesday launched Grokipedia, an AI generated online encyclopedia. He says would out he says will outclass Wikipedia and cut through the ideological spin, rolling out version 0.1. Billed as a fix for what Musk calls Wikipedia's left-leaning bias, Grokipedia is built on his AI team and shipped through roughly like 800,000 entries, far fewer than Wikipedia's English corpus, but enough for the public debut. Musk announced the release on X and promised version 1.0 will be 10 times better. Okay? So Grokipedia, when Elon Musk pushed it out today, it's their first version. It's their new. It's their brand spanking new. His AI team is already working around the clock, guys, to push out 1.0, which he says will be 10 times better than Wikipedia and will be so factual that, oh my God, it'll make their head spin. Yeah, it pretty much will. But I will say this. I will say this. I've been using Grokipedia, and boy, it is so factual that I'm even astounded. Things it says, things it posts. On Wikipedia, it would take months to change it. Yeah, that's why I use Grokipedia. I use Grokipedia now when I'm challenging like people talking about intersex conditions, disorders of sexual development, or people talking about Kalman syndrome and all that. I'm challenging them. And the funny thing is, I'm even using Grok to challenge them. That's why I will use Grok and ChatGPT to fact check the left. And the funny thing is, how the left loves to fact check the right? But now that ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, is here, the tables have turned. Now we're getting to fact check the left. And now that scares them to death. That scares them because we're now being able to fact check these people. And when we're fact checking these people, oh my God. Oh my God. They're scared shit. They're scared shit. And I'm telling you right now, man, they're going to be scared out of their ass. Yeah. But here's the thing on Breitbart. Elon Musk's XXAI launches AI-powered Grokipedia to rival left-wing Wikipedia. Read you the headlines from this. Elon Musk artificial intelligence company XAI has launched Grokipedia, an AI-powered online encyclopedia aimed at challenging Wikipedia's dominance on the internet. The extreme leftist bias of Wikipedia has been extensively chronicled by Breitbart News, including widespread slurs of Charlie Kirk following his assassination. Read you the second paragraph. Elon Musk's XAI unveiled Grokipedia on Monday, a long-awaited alternative to Wikipedia that billionaire tech tycoon hopes will address Wikipedia's extreme leftist political bias and inaccuracies. The launch marks Musk's latest attempt to challenge mainstream platforms he deems ideologically skewed following his acquisition and rebranding of Twitter as X. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to say this. This is why I'm going to say this. Elon Musk has done more for this country and more for free speech than anyone else on this planet. Elon Musk has done so much that I sit here and go, man, this guy would make Steve Jobs jealous. This guy would make Steve Jobs envious. Because like this, Steve Jobs did wonders with Apple and Macintosh, and he did great things for the globe. But I'm telling you, where Steve Jobs left off, Elon Musk is making it 10 times better. Okay? I'm telling you, he is like the guy that basically revolutionized the electric car with Tesla, solar panels, satellite internet with Starlink, SpaceX, and with X, with Grok, and now Grokipedia. Man's done great things for this country, man. Man is like the biggest genius on God's green earth, on the third rock from the sun in the Milky Way galaxy. So this guy has done so much for us, and you can't thank this guy enough. Okay? You can't thank Elon Musk enough. Because I'm telling you this, man, even if he even if he achieved so much in this country, I think like this, what Trump should do before he leaves office should should like dedicate a Space Force base named after Elon Musk. Dedicate like a national highway named after him. Dedicate like a post office named after him. Or even have a stamp with his face on it. Telling you, man, I would even go one step further. At the Air Force Academy, name a building, name a like a science and research like a science research and technology building after him, or name a building at like the Air Force Institute of Technology after him. I would. The guy could even teach there. Maybe Trump should let him teach at AFIT. You know what I mean? I would let him. I would. I literally would. But anyway, I want to talk about, before we end the show for today, guys, I want to talk about once again, guys, once again, the Democrats seem to want to keep shutting down this country, okay? And for the 13th time today, they voted to shut down the country because here's the thing, they want to pander to the illegal immigrants and give illegal immigrants free health care via the Obamacare. I say like this, Chuck Schumer, AOC, and Bernie Sanders, we should primary the living effing motherfuck out of you people. We should. Because I'm gonna tell you this: there are people who are harmed by the Bernie Sanders, AOC, and Chucky boys shutdown. My youngest brother, who works for the federal government, is affected by this. Yeah, I have friends in the military who aren't even being paid, but they still have to come to work, are affected by this. But the problem here is, ladies and gentlemen, the Democrats are using the shutdown as their only leverage because they're not the majority power. And I'm going to tell you this. This article popped up, okay? This article today, all right, from townhall.com. All right. Another Democrat just said the quiet part out loud about the Schumer shutdown. Okay. And I'm going to read you the headline. Last week, Democrat Minority Whip Catherine Clark said her party planned to use the suffering inflicted on Americans by the Schumer shutdown as leverage against Republicans in negotiations on reopening the government, and it was refreshing, albeit appalling moment of honesty. Here's the other paragraph. Clark knew what she said was terrible because she later tried to walk back on it, claiming what she said wasn't what she meant. What she said wasn't what she meant. Now her colleague, ladies and gentlemen, Senator Chris Coons of Democrat Delaware, has offered more proof that the Democrats have every intention of using the suffering of Americans as political leverage during the shutdown. Okay? And he said, quote, on C-SPAN, Republicans control the House, the Senate, the White House. Frankly, this is our only moment of leverage, and although very unpleasant tool to use, Coons said on C-SPAN. Yeah, Republicans hold the majority in the federal government. They're the majority of the House, the Senate, and the White House. Chucky Schumer and the far left Democrats are trying to use this shutdown to get back funding that we took away through then USAID. Okay, they want to fund, and this is the funny part. They want to fund like this: illegal immigrant health care through Obamacare. They want to fund LGBT healthcare in Latin America. They want to fund HIV/AIDS in other countries. They want to fund other countries' pet projects, but don't want to fund American projects. This is why Democrats are America last, whereas Trump is America first. The fact of the matter is, guys, the Democrats are pitting welfare recipients versus illegals. And they are pandering to illegals over welfare. They really are. I'm going to tell you this. Come Saturday, November 1st, if this government shutdown continues, you're going to see a massive chimp out because the welfare class is not getting their money. And to me, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think they deserve it. I don't think they deserve it. I would be in favor of this shutdown just to wipe out the welfare class and say, no, they don't deserve welfare. They got to go get a job like everyone else. That's why you see on social media, you see everyone like having a chimp out, having a freak out over the fact that they're not going to get their welfare next month and that they're going to be forced to go find work like everyone else, including what? Yours truly here speaking to y'all. But you know me. I think like this, ladies and gentlemen. Keep the shutdown going. We can get rid of the welfare class, force the welfare class back to work like everyone else, and then tell the Democrats like this: we're not negotiating on reopening the government unless you take illegal immigration off the table. Unless you take funding healthcare for illegals off the table. If you don't take that off the table, we can keep the shutdown going all the way to fucking midterm elections and watch you Democrats suffer an excruciating blow so badly that you become the minority party with even a smaller number. Yeah. And this is why I often say like this. At this point, we should temporarily suspend the filibuster and just go by simple majority vote. And if we go by simple majority vote, we'd end the shutdown real quick, get everyone back to work, get everyone's pay back, you know what I mean? And then keep the government running, and then maybe like keep going with some Doge cuts, you know what I mean? I would keep doing it like that, but the minority Democrats would cry, howl, would threaten to shut down the government. I would, if I was Speaker Mike Johnson or Thune, I would go like this. No way we're opening the government unless they take illegal immigration off the table. If they don't take that off the table, ladies and gentlemen, they can suffer. They can suffer with it. They can suffer. And I don't care if the welfare class has a chimp out. I don't care if they loot, rob, or steal from Walmart. Because you know what? They're gonna wind up in fucking prison anyway, where they're gonna get 3 square meals a day. Yeah, they are. This is why I go like this. I'm glad I'm glad this shutdown is going to get rid of the welfare class. I'm glad, but it's hurting the federal employees. It is. It's hurting them. It really is. What Representative Kuhn said from Delaware, he said the quiet part out loud. He said that this shutdown is the only leverage they have because they know they don't have majority power in this country. They don't have a majority in the House, in the Senate, or in the White House. They don't have it. They don't have it. So they're using this shutdown as their only leverage. But I'm gonna tell you this: their only leverage is gonna cost them royally come next year when the midterm elections approach. And when the midterm elections come around the corner, ladies and gentlemen, Democrats are in for a bloodbath. And they're going to be in for the worst fucking bloodbath of their life. They're going to be fucked beyond fucked beyond fucked like no tomorrow. And I'm telling you this, next November, come midterm elections, whether governor, whether congressional, they're fucked. Democrats are fucked beyond fucked. They're screwed so badly, guys, that they're never going to recover from this. They are never, ever going to recover from this. They are so screwed out of their asses, folks, that I'm gonna tell you this: they don't have a wing and a prayer anymore. And if they think that this is their way of getting back because they don't have majority power or they're not in power anymore, I'm gonna tell you this: this is gonna hurt them in the long run. This is gonna hurt them in ways that they're never gonna see it coming. It's gonna hurt them so badly in the midterms and in the presidential election. I don't think any Democrat will be able to hold power anymore. They'll be so minority powered that the only power they'll probably have left is what? Your local town election? That's it. That's pretty much it. But after that, they're fucked. They are fucked beyond fucked. So this is why it's like this. Whenever a Democrat accuses a Republican of saying that this is your shutdown, you caused all this, go look around the corner. Go look behind the wall. Go look at behind the door in the conference room. Guess who's causing all this? It's not the Republicans. It's the fucking freaking Democrats who are run by the far left of Bernie Sanders, AOC, Chucky Schumer. They're the ones causing it. But then these leftists don't want to admit it because they don't want to admit the truth that their side is causing all this. So what they do is they accuse you of the very thing that they're doing. And that's that same rule from Dan Bongino. Whenever a Democrat accuses you of something, they're actually doing it themselves. Yeah. So this is why whenever a Democrat, leftist or liberal, socialist or communist or progressive, accuses you of causing this shutdown, I'm pointing the finger back at them and say, your side caused it. You might want to turn around and open your eyes a little wider and open your ears a little wider and see who's actually causing this shutdown. It's not the Democrats. I mean, it's not the Republicans that are causing this, guys. It's not. It's the Democrats that are causing the shutdown. They're responsible for it. And I like this article. And I like this article right here. Okay? And I like this article from the Daily Caller. Democrats take aim at Republicans, shoot themselves in the foot with government shutdown. I'll read you the headline from this. Democrats have done their best to blame Republicans for the government shutdown despite continually voting against bills to reopen the government. Democrats' stubbornness in fear of reprisal from their own radical supporters has cost them their favorite photo opportunity. Facts speak for themselves because Democrats are afraid and they're in fear of dealing with the far left radicals, the far left socialists, communists, progressives. The Democrats that are in Congress right now, they're afraid to deal with those people. So they go along with this shutdown because they're afraid. They're afraid to tell them, fuck you, hell no, back off. They're afraid. But you know what? But then they go around accusing us of causing the shutdown when in reality, they're causing it. Yeah. And I'll read you this and I'll read you this second paragraph. Wave goodbye to those teary-eyed detention facility photo shoots. For now, Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE officials say they're no longer required to give government representatives on-demand access to detention facilities. Okay? ICE authorities have informed lawmakers that they simply don't have the staff or funding to support those visits because of the shutdown, according to Politico. Lawmakers have previously been legally allowed to demand them as part of their oversight duties, which include monitoring conditions, communicating with detainees facing deportation. Mm-hmm. And now visitation requests from members of Congress are either being denied or met with auto replies. Well, yeah, because you know why? Because here's the thing. Democrats, okay, have caused the shutdown, but they're blaming Republicans. So they're accusing us of the very thing that they're doing. And haven't people on our side told you this, guys? Including Dan Bongino, who ran his own show before he became deputy FBI director. Whenever a Democrat accuses a Republican of something, they're doing it themselves. They're doing the very thing that they're accusing the other side of doing. Pretty much. Pretty much, guys. So to me, guys, Democrats, you want to accuse me of causing the shutdown, but then you turn around and do it by not voting to keep the government open? Gee, you wonder why, guys. You wonder why. Yeah, gee. Gee willikers, man. Gee. Every time Democrats shoot themselves in the foot by accusing us of causing the shutdown, we turn around and point to the fact that they're actually doing it themselves. They're actually causing the shutdown. They're actually shutting down the government because they want to force the country to give free health care to illegal immigrants at their at at their behest, and they want to do it on the backs of everyone else. And they're basically throwing the welfare class under the table and pander to the illegal immigration class. Okay? And say like this, well, we don't care about the welfare class because they only use them to get their vote. Yeah, they only use them to get their vote to stay in power. I wonder how the welfare class feels about being cheated out by the Democrats who are causing this shutdown, okay? Who are siding with the illegals over the welfare class that they use to get their votes. I wonder how they feel. I wonder how they feel if they found out that they were being used to get their vote, okay, but then get thrown in the gutter to pander to people who came across the border free willy and nilly and didn't obey the rules of the law of this country. But I tell you, man, I tell you, if they ever found out about it, if they ever rubbed two brain cells together to figure out that they were being used by the Democrats to stay in power and then to pander to illegals and then throwing them on the side of the road. I go with this. You think Chucky Schumer's sweating bullets now? If the welfare class knew the truth about it? Oh, the far left Democrats, the socialists, the progressives, the liberals, and the communists would be facing a bloodbath of epic proportions. They would be so fucked, screwed so badly that they will never ever fucking recover for the next 100 years. They would be a minority party for decades. They literally would, guys. They literally would. Wow, that was a good long show, guys. That was a good long show, man. Holy shit. I didn't know I can talk that much in so much of a time. I didn't know I can, guys. I did not know. Man, oh man. But anyway, guys, I thank you for listening to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host. I will see y'all soon. Bye for now.
You just listened to an episode of Nikki's World. Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all soon. Bye for now.